Welcome to the Fundamental Football Friday show. We are back at it again, talking Ohio State, Maryland, big showdown in the Big Ten. Who would have thought? Coming up next, let's get into it. It's not happening. It's not happening. If you're watching this, I'm sure you know by now that the Ohio State Maryland game has been canceled due to the COVID. Maryland has had 8 cases inside their program, and the game is canceled. Big Ten guidelines, Big Ten restrictions. 8 cases is not the number that gets you over the threshold, but it's still deemed to where they can cancel the game, and it doesn't have to be a forfeit. I know there were a lot of games, a lot of instances where teams had enough scholarships, players, to play the game still, but it hasn't worked out that way. So, so what is there to talk about? Not a whole lot, right? This was supposed to be a pretty big game for Ohio State, a good gauge to kind of see where they're at defensively. Maryland looked pretty hot coming off that win against Penn State. Now, some may argue Penn State has just given up, has thrown in the towel and said, screw it, the season's over. Some people think that this Maryland team's legit. Tua's little brother, I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm just going to call him Tua's little brother. He looks like the real deal. He gets the ball out fast, makes good decisions. Besides, maybe the first week against Northwestern, which I kind of went back and looked at that game. He had a few kind of jump balls where he was kind of trusting his receivers and trying to make the spectacular throw that didn't work out. But they love to take shots downfield. They have Rakim Jarrett, 5-star wide receiver who they kept from LSU, and I know it was a little bit on the fence with Ohio State, but it was more kind of LSU, Maryland race, and he stayed home, stayed in the area, and he looks great. And they have a big, tall receiver, Demas, so it would have been a great test to see what this Ohio State defense and that secondary can do with a quarterback who can throw it, who takes shots downfield, and he can run. So it would have been a good test, and Maryland was 2-1, so it kind of would have been a big showdown as well in the whole standings. But that's all gone. You can't really hold Maryland too much. I know people say, you hear rumblings, it was a Halloween party. You're hearing all these cases pop up around the country. It was Halloween. All these guys went out for the Halloween parties because it was on Saturday. That all well could be true. But at the same time, you try to do everything you can as a program, and you have guys that end up with it, and it's about the safety, so I get the aspect of that. It just sucks. Ohio State doesn't have many games as it is already, and I know that they're itching to kind of prove that second half of Rutgers is not indicative to the team that they are, and they're going to have to wait another week to show that. Which, if you want to look on the bright side, is a good thing, where you could prepare for Indiana. You get an extra week. IU is going to be playing Michigan State, I believe, and you can stay at home and watch them and prepare for them, because that's potentially the game for the Big Ten East. Yeah, who would have saw that coming? Everyone thought week 2 was it for the Big Ten East battle, but no. It is the team in Bloomington. So yeah, man, it sucks. There's not really a whole lot you could say. I feel really bad for these Ohio State players that are doing everything they can, sacrificing everything they can. And I don't want to say that Maryland's not doing the same. You know, you can catch this anywhere, anyhow, you know. So, but you feel for the guys that it's not on them. They put everything in. You hear guys like Justin Fields that legit does nothing. Now, granted, I'm taking his word for it, but press conferences saying he goes nowhere. He goes to the Woody. He goes home. He may go to the grocery store, walk his dog. That's it. And you feel for guys like that, man, that sacrifice all this. These are their young college years, and the college experience is a little different this year. I know that, but these guys are sacrificing so much to play a sport that they love. So it really sucks when that gets taken away and you lose out on those chances to play. So yeah, there's that. It really does suck. We will see. Hopefully the Maryland or the Indiana game gets played. We're gonna cross our fingers there and see. Make sure that Indiana gets too healthy, Ohio State gets too healthy, and that game gets played. As far as college football playoff, that doesn't matter. I mean, this is all the Big Ten's fault. We can get into that. The Big Ten not leaving any wiggle room, any adjustments to be made. They knew they were going to be cancellations. There were cancellations all throughout the year before they even kicked off. Them not thinking that there would be any cancellation just because you started 2 months later than everybody else, that there wasn't going to be any cases, any cancellations, especially with the guidelines that you do have. It's just, it's mind-boggling, the leadership that goes on in the Big Ten. But there's no wiggle room for them to make up a game, and they have that rule, that stupid rule of you need to play a certain number of games. It's almost like, I don't know, it's, my galaxy brain conspiracy theory hat on. It's almost like they're trying to find ways to get somebody else in other than Ohio State. So, but it is what it is. You got to roll with the punches. As far as college football playoff, I don't think this has anything to do with it at this point. I think right now everyone in the country knows Ohio State is more than likely one of the 4 best teams. They just need to win all the games that they can play, and I truly think everything else will take care of itself. If we start having some more cancellations, then we can start worrying. But right now, I have no worries about that. So I wish there was more to talk about. I do. My beard's getting crazy. It's only going to get bigger and crazier as the season goes on. But yeah, I got some picks for you guys. We'll get into that. Fundamental 5 next. Last week went 4-1. Pretty good. pretty good. Nice bounce back week after the pretty bad week 2 weeks ago. But 10-4. 10-4? Wait. I don't even know my overall record right now, but it's solid. It's solid. 10-5. 10-5. That's my record. So I'm going to pick you. If you don't know what it is, I'll give you 5 games. 5 games for the week that I like. Betting lines, overs, underdogs, something like that. So I'll give you 5 games that I like. Pick them, and maybe you can win some money. Listen to me. Fade me. Lose some money. Your choice. First game. We're going to go Friday night. I got a couple Friday nights for you. Give me the under in the Iowa-Minnesota game. Now, I know Minnesota can score, but Iowa can always play defense. Iowa will always keep it close. You don't blow out Iowa. You just don't blow them out. So I don't expect Minnesota to score a ton. I think best case scenario, Iowa or Minnesota scores 27.28, and Iowa's not that type of team to get blown out. And if Iowa does win, it's going to be a close game. So Iowa loves to play close games. It's Friday night. Weird things happen. Give me the under. Friday night. I can't believe I'm doing this because they've been money for me these last couple weeks. But again, this goes back to Friday night. Weird things happen on Friday night. Give me East Carolina plus 27.5. Yes, they are playing the Bearcats. The Bearcats are a wagon right now. Luke Fickell has those guys rolling. But give me East Carolina. East Carolina can score. UC's not a huge potent offense, but they're probably going to run the ball more. It's going to be more of a methodical beating. I'm not saying UC is going to lose, but by any stretch of the imagination. But almost 28 points is a lot of points to win by. And I'm picturing a UC victory by maybe 17 to 24 range. But I don't think 4 touchdown win is going to happen for the Bearcats. So give me the Pirates. Yeah, I can't believe I'm picking against Fickell. But here we are. Now, give me Indiana. Indiana minus 7.5 against Michigan State. Michigan State is impossible to predict. And I'm saying that, and I'm betting against them. So they go from getting beat by Rutgers, beating Michigan, and then getting destroyed the very next week. Yeah, it's really hard to understand what those guys are going to do. But I do think IU's a good team. I think they're a pretty good team. I would think they're Penix Jr., good quarterback. And they play, Tom Allen always has those guys playing good defense. So I do like the Hoosiers. 7.5, not a lot of points. Michigan State, not a very good team. So give me the Hoosiers, who I think are a legit top 15, top 20 team. Next we got Notre Dame. This one I kind of was going back and forth on. Notre Dame minus 13.5 against Boston College. I will take the Irish, even though people are saying it's kind of a trap game. Maybe watch out for coming off that big win against Clemson. Don't remind me, that cost me a perfect week last week. But that was a big win for them. And people were thinking they're not going to come back. They're going to be riding that high and come out flat, to where a Jeff Hafley team and that defense can hold them and keep it close. But I think Notre Dame's defense is really good. I think Notre Dame's defense is legit. And I do think especially their run defense, and that's kind of what Boston College likes to do. I think their run defense is legit, and I do think Notre Dame's going to run it down their throats and possibly win this one by more than 3 scores. So give me the Irish. And lastly, Michigan. Every time I've picked you, the opposite has happened. I can't go 3 times in a row. So I'm not picking you this time. I'm picking against you. Wisconsin, -4.5. This kind of seems like a no-brainer, but it's also weirdly a game Michigan would win. But Wisconsin is a legit team. They always have been. They play great defense, and they can run the ball. But this time, they have Graham Mertz, a quarterback who can throw the ball. And they have been itching to play. They haven't played since week 1 against Illinois. I think they're ready to come out and smack Michigan in the mouth. They're chomping at the bit to play. I know Michigan's itching to get back in the win column. So it will be an interesting game. Will this Michigan team roll over and kind of say, hey, we need to get Harbaugh out the door? That's a conversation for another time. Or will Michigan say, we are done losing and let's get this W on the Badgers? So those are my 5. Weird weekend. Crazy weekend. So yeah, I guess I'll see you all next week. I'll see you all maybe. I'll do a recap on my picks for Sunday. It'll be a short little video recapping the picks, but I appreciate everyone that checks in, and if you could like, subscribe, and maybe drop a comment, let me know what you think of the videos. So appreciate you guys, and stay safe, stay well, be good.